Hey, thank you for coming back. And today, I'd like to talk to you yet again about some TEMU products. And it's a bunch of lights, LED lights. This is the first one. And basically, as far as I was able to find, there's two different models of this one. They're both LEDs. They're both obviously run on batteries, but one is AAA, the other one is a rechargeable light. So let's start with the rechargeable light first. Now, it took me a while to find any useful information on this light here. The only thing I was able to find is that it's a 500 milliamp hour battery and that it's rechargeable. That's it. Now, basically, yes, you got a nice little switch. Turns on and off. That is glass, and it's kind of questionable, the quality of glass, because watch as I turn it around. You see the big old brown spot. And then look right here. It's not a traditional way of making glass, but it is. So basically with this, there's no rubber feet or anything, just two screws, which you can pull this access panel off and see all the insides, and that's it. There's the charging port right here. You do get a charging cable. It's a barrel type plug, so don't lose it. And a USB type A on the other side. The box pretty much doesn't really have anything on it to say. I don't know how many lumens it is. None of that stuff. It's just that it's an LED light. Also, when I was first looking at this and first seeing it from the first seller on TEMU or vendor, didn't even tell me the runtime. I really had to keep looking and looking and looking and looking. And they said up to 12 hours runtime on this thing. And yeah, that's probably true, okay? Because when I charged this thing, when I first got it in, I charged it up. Now, hold on. First, let me just run down everything. When you charge it, there's no light telling you that it's charging or when it's fully charged. Nothing. You just plug it in, put it into something to charge it up, and away you go. The best way I found to charge this, I don't want to say accurately, but the best way to charge this thing is probably with a low voltage USB port, meaning something like what's on your computer or laptop, or a very older style phone charger type deal. Because when I ran this thing down and I plugged it into one of my more modern type chargers, you know, like about a 30-watt charger, didn't charge it at all. So use something that has no more than a 1 amp output on a USB port with this is my suggestion. You may find it differently. I don't know. Now let's get on to these lights here, which, once again, no information. It just comes in a brown box. There's nothing telling you really anything on it. The only thing that they tell you is that it runs on AAA batteries, 3 of them to be exact. And I like the looks of these things because it kind of looks retro style. And the funny thing is they actually unscrew from the base, which is pretty cool in a way. And yes, even this one is AAA. The on and off switch is right there. There's the battery access port. Once again, it's glass. Well, this one, I mean, they actually sound plastic to me, but they say it's glass. Once again, not telling me any lumen rating. Not telling me even what type of LEDs or how long these things will last. Nothing. Now, that's it for these. So before I go any further and give you any of my final thought or whatever, let me show you a test video of these. You know, I'm going to, stand in my bathroom, turn each one on, and let you see how bright they are. And then we'll come back and I'll discuss it even more. Okay, now that you've seen the test video, if you will, and you've seen these things in action, what do I think of either one of these lights? Well, when I first got this in, I really like it. It's about as bright as a night light. Now, I know I said it, one of the vendors said it lasts 12 plus hours. I wouldn't doubt that. Because when I first got this in, I charged it up, not knowing how long it's going to take to charge it up. I left it plugged in for 3 hours. When I got to the 9.5 hour mark of this thing just running straight through, not turning it on and off, just turned it on at a certain time, and I timed it all the way through. At 9.5 hours, I noticed that's when this thing started to dim down. So I wouldn't doubt if it would last around the 12-hour mark. 12 plus, probably not. But definitely it's a nice little night light to have, especially for kids. It's great ambient lighting. Great to have, like, in case of an emergency, if power goes out. Hunting, camping, hiking, that type of thing too. They're not waterproof, so don't get them wet, okay? So that's what I think about this one so far. What do I think about these two lights? Which I still think that's plastic. Now, I ran actually this one here, and you can see I don't have the best batteries in the world. These are Magnavox batteries. They're not the most expensive. They're not the cheapest, like from a dollar store. When I turned it on, I got a really good amount of light. These, by the way, are brighter than this one. This thing ran for 13 hours, and that's still how it's finally starting to dim down after 13 hours. So that's really good on 3 AA's for this type of light. And this one, I imagine, is going to be the same thing. Let me kind of show you, is there any difference? No, there's not really difference. It's slightly dimming down in this one after 13 hours. I left the same batteries in it. But yeah, once again, it's great for just looks. Really good for, like, if you're camping and you want light, but you don't want it so bright it's like daylight. You know, you could put this on there, and if you got it, kind of have it close to you, you can still read by it. It pumps out enough light for you to read. Like if this was only about a foot or two away from you, 2 to 3 feet away from you, you can still read a book or a magazine or something with this, as opposed to this. This is good enough just for you to see what you're doing, you know, like where you're walking, so you're not going to bump into anything. That's what this one's for. But if you want something a little bit brighter and a little bit stronger, this is the way to go, because it's brighter and it definitely lasts longer. I think this thing will probably last at least a good 14-15 hours on AAA batteries, depending upon the type you get. Once again, I got these cheap Magnavox batteries, and they lasted quite a long time. So if you get like maybe Duracell or Energizer, who knows, the runtime might even be longer than 13 hours straight. Like I said, I just turned it on, paid attention to what time it was, turned the light on, and then it was still going strong. After 13 hours, I was like, okay, you know what, that's long enough. So yeah, great for hunting, fishing, camping, and power outages, you know, for emergency lighting. It's great for mood lighting. Like if you're sitting out there on the patio having a barbecue at night, you know, you have a couple of these going, maybe even some of these going as well. Great for that. So do I think these are worth you getting your money from, spending your money on in TEMU? Yeah. I mean, more this than this one. This one, the problem I have is it's the barrel connector. And it's a lot harder to find something like this type of cable than, say, a micro USB cable or even a mini USB cable. So I really wish they would have had it something a little bit more universal, something that you can like get a cable for in case this one goes bad, or if you lose it, you can find it a little bit better in stores or whatnot. These are definitely worth it because you can get AAA batteries anywhere. I do like the idea that you can actually unscrew both of these bulbs. So it makes for easier transport. You know, it won't take up as much, you know, it takes up a lot less room to have two small items than one big, long item such as this. But that's just me. So yeah, these are worth it. Definitely. It's up to you, maybe for your kitties or something of that nature. But I keep saying it, even with flashlights, it's better to have some kind of light than no light at all. So yeah, TEMU is, you know, they do have some good products, but sometimes you got to be wary about other things. And I might do a video about my thoughts as a whole on TEMU and some of the products they sell. But right now, these lights here are definitely worth you getting from TEMU because, like I said, in case of an emergency, you got some kind of light going on. They're great for mood lighting, like I said, you know, have them around your house, your apartment. If you happen to be out having a barbecue or something with friends and you want some really kind of cool lighting for ambiance or just because they look cool, you got some great lights for that. Of course, emergency lighting, like I said, 13 hours, and it was still, and you can see it's still going pretty down. I mean, it's finally dimming down, so it's probably like more like about a 14-15 hour runtime on 3 AAA batteries that are pretty cheap. And not to mention, by the way, the batteries I have in here are about a year old. So, and I still got 13 hours of runtime out of this. Okay. So yeah, dollar store batteries will work in here, or you can get really good ones and it'll probably even have a longer runtime. Heck, even with cheap batteries, if you were to buy them new and use them, you'll probably get a little bit better runtime than batteries that are about a year old already. So yeah, TEMU does have some good products. These lights too kind of prove it right here. I would say 9.5, 10 hour runtime on this one before you have to recharge it. And speaking of which, I charge it at least 2 hours on using the USB port on my laptop, and that seems to work. 13 hours with this one on AAA batteries. So definitely these two lights are definitely worth getting. They range anywhere from $5 to $10 each. I know that's not necessarily cheap, but it is what it is, and it's definitely worth getting. And just remember with TEMU, sometimes the prices change radically. When I first bought this, it was $7.99. When I went back to look again for this one actually dropped a whole buck. So sometimes prices do change quite a bit on TEMU, so keep your eye open for it. All right, so final thing. What do I think about these two lights to get from TEMU? Yes, it's definitely worth getting. Just like I said, with this one, use a low amperage USB port. Nothing more than a 1 amp USB port. That's what I found. You may find something different. This one, use good quality batteries, but if you can't afford something like the Duracell or the Energizer, dollar store batteries can work just as well, and this one too. And if you happen to like this video, please give it that thumbs up. If you haven't done so already, please subscribe to my channel and do not forget about that notification bell. It would help me out a lot if you were to share this video and maybe a few more of my others on all of your social media. And until the next video, you, your friends, your family, and yes, even all of your pets, you all have a great day. I'll see you in the next video.